What up? My name is Philip Martin. I'm here to talk a little bit about how to address generalized shoulder pain and neck, and also some neck pain. So one of the things that I hear a lot in my personal life is, oh, I have this spot and it's just right there or right there and I can never get it. Or also I get a lot of, oh, I get pain here and I can never get rid of it. Also front of the shoulder. So something that happens in the body is, since it functions like a pulley system, if I have these pulleys on both sides of my shoulder, pulleys on the front of the shoulder and pulleys on the back of the shoulder that exert forces, a lot of times we get caught up in the front of the body. So everything, our awareness is in front of us. Computers are in front of us, phones are in front of us, the steering wheel, our kids, everything is here. So then we lose the awareness of what's happening in the back of the body. And with that, if all my awareness and all my stabilization and all my intention is here, then it tends to pull forward a little bit. And with pulling forward now, we have an overextension of the back part of the shoulder stabilizers. And so those guys get pretty beat up because they're just getting pulled on all day and they're kind of doing this all the time. So oftentimes if there's pain on the back of the body, it's related to tension on the side or the front of the shoulder. And this applies elsewhere, hips, ankles, neck, that kind of stuff. But for today's video, we're going to focus on the shoulder. So since we're getting pain in the back, the muscle groups that are in the front are the chest. So I have my tennis ball here, which I'm going to be using since most people can get a tennis ball. So the front area of the chest right here is called the pectoralis minor. And that's kind of right in the front, below my collarbone here, and then inside my shoulder. So not in like the meat of my chest, but slightly higher. So we're going to release the pec minor, we're going to release the serratus, which is right here, and we're also going to go after a little bit of the teres minor, infraspinatus, teres major complex, and some subscap by default over here. So those are some of the areas we're going to get into. First technique, we're going to take this and place it right here on the chest. Again, this is in that front corner. So I have my collarbone here, and then the kind of ball of my shoulder. And I'm just going to find a tender spot, dig with my fingers a little bit until I find a tender spot, place that ball right there, and you can either lean against the wall, or if you have a door frame, you can place the ball on the inside of the door frame, and that way I lean into it and my face is not getting smushed into the wall. So the door frame is a really effective technique as well. But if you don't have a door frame handy, take a tennis ball, lean against the wall with your arm out, or with your arm out to the side. So for me, I'm going to set up here, have my feet staggered so I can lean into it a little bit, and I'll reach my arm out to the side and just relax. And I'll spend about 30 seconds on this technique. You can go up to really as long as you want, unless you start getting nerve sensations in your hand, then stop. So I'm just breathing. I'm going to lean my head against the wall because I noticed I was holding some tension in my body, and the idea is to just make this as easy and relaxing as possible while those fibers that are overly tense relax. And it's not a very intense sensation for me, but I can feel the muscle relaxing. So that's an important thing with this. You don't need to chase the pain. Like, I could find pain on my body, but chasing that pain is not always productive. So you could find a tender spot and then engage the tissue just a little bit so you feel the pressure and notice it will release on its own. So that was the pec minor, the chest release. Now we're going to find the other spot here. So my shoulder blade is right here, and I'm I'm just going to bring my fingertips in front of it and press right there. And that's what spot we're going to drop that ball in right now. So kind of like 2 inches below the armpit. And what I'm going to do is lean sideways against the wall here. And this spot can get pretty lit up or tender. You can also take your hand, place it behind your neck, and just rest your arm like that. So I'm leaning into the wall here with my tennis ball and just finding a stance that lets me do this easily. And again, we're going to hold this one for about 30 seconds, up to 2 minutes or as long as you want. You can keep hunting around. If you've never released your serratus before, this will be pretty intense. If you have something bigger like a softball, that would be equally effective and easier because it's a little bigger. There we go, I feel that muscle releasing, so I'm going to just slowly ease off. Okay, so that was the second technique, which is the serratus. And the third technique we're going to do is to just release those rhomboids. Even though they're angry here, we're just going to gently apply some pressure with the tennis ball. So that's also, this is tender for me, so I'm just going to lean back here. So I'm going to do about 20 seconds with my arm down, and then I'm going to lift my arm and do another 20 seconds, supporting the same side. Okay, I feel that starting to release, so I'm going to float my fingers up, support my elbow, just place my hand behind my neck, and I'm just supporting my right arm with my left hand here. Putting the shoulder in a slightly different position can be really helpful. Just noticing my breathing, making this relaxing. And I feel it release a little bit more. So what I'm going to do now is keep my hand here, take this ball, I'm going to go on the back of the shoulder, right here, in the posterior deltoid feathers. Just place the ball, hold my shoulder, and roll around until I find the tender spot. And got it. So again, I'm just supporting my arm here. This stretches out the fibers a little bit, so it gives a slightly better stretch. And again, noticing my breathing and remaining calm, even if it's a little bit painful. And I feel that muscle release, and my arm actually start to move forward a little bit, meaning the back of the arm, the muscles in the back of the shoulder release a little bit. My arm is now able to float forward. It started to feel lighter, in other words, in my left hand. Good, and let's continue to release. So I'll take that ball, and those are the techniques for that. So we had pec, oh yeah, there's one more. So we had pec, serratus, rhomboids, posterior deltoid, and the other one I want to do is a first rib or upper shoulder release. So you're going to place the ball basically right in this little corner. So I have my collarbone, and then on the back is my trapezius. And we're kind of going to drop that in right here. And the door frame is really crucial for this because I'm going to take this ball position and just lean straight into it. And I'm not using a ton of weight. I'm not pressing forward really hard, but I'm just leaning into it so that I feel the pressure. And I can take a breath and relax. And I noticed for me, as I inhaled, I felt the area tense, and I felt the sensation became more intense. So that means for me, I have some muscle tension there. So I'm going to inhale again and try to inflate that upper area where I have the ball pressing. Oof, that's intense. I started to get a little bit of a nerve sensation, so what I did is I repositioned the ball until that went away, and now it's good. Now I'm rolling my body forward to move the ball back towards my trapezius a little bit more. That feels really nice. Taking another big breath, letting that go. Good, and that's the first rib release. And I feel way better. I wish I had tested my mobility before and after, but I feel a lot more relaxed, a lot more open with that. So thanks for popping in. All you need is a tennis ball, and a wall, and a door frame.